right, who will he pick this week? That is the big question everyone at home is wondering, and we want to know as well, especially since our high school guru is 30-10 so far this season. And George, let's start with Thursday night's contest at Lowry Field between Estacado and Canyon.
Yeah, a interesting matchup here. You know, Canyon has played some good programs, but they've also lost to some of those good programs. You know, while putting up some good points, they've put up 25, 27 points against some of the better teams. But this is an Estacado team that's coming off of the bye. You know, they've had a couple weeks to get healthy. Big question mark is Deverick Stubblefield. Coach Cervantes told us last week he injured his AC joint against Snyder, so we don't know how healthy he's going to be. He said he probably could have come back, but they were being cautious with him. So if he's back healthy and if he's able to throw, I think Estacado will be the better team. Honestly, I think Estacado will probably be the better team anyway, just because of Alton White and Augustine Biggity and that good offensive line they have. Being at home, having 2 weeks to prepare, I like the Matadors at home. Let's go with Estacado in that one.
All right, District 2-5A getting back underway this week as well. In our first intercity game, Lubbock High taking on Coronado in this one. Of course, it's out at Lowry, so it's you really don't have a home team in it, although Coronado will play as the home team. My question to you, and I know I just asked you this a second ago, how is Coronado going to be able to cover Nathan Slaughter?
Well, I mean, you look at what most teams are going to have to do to cover Nathan Slaughter is double team, and I'm sure that Coronado has sit there for 2 weeks and looked at the film and figured out how to cover him. You know, the thing is, though, Lubbock High throws the ball about like Coronado does, so it's kind of facing a mirror image type deal when you're talking about defenses and offenses. So the question mark is how healthy is Angel Armendariz going to be? I think he's going to be back this week. He may not play the whole game, which means Kellen Hammond's going to have to take some of the snaps, which he's had 2 weeks to get ready for. And he looked good with only 20% of the snaps a couple weeks ago, just didn't have the experience. And can Coronado put the ball in the end zone enough? So this is going to be a very interesting game. I've waffled back and forth on this one for a couple days, but in the back of my mind, I always remember Butch Henderson has never lost to Lubbock High. It might happen this week, and it might be close, but I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to go with Coronado this week.
All right, next game, Monterey taking on Midland. Of course, we know Midland is off to a great start. They're playing just as good as they were last year. Monterey finally gets a good win heading into that bye week last week. They got a good game out of Sam Teague. But do they have enough to stop Midland? I
don't think they do. Credit for Monterey with what they did against Central. They got the offense going, and they're going to need that again. But I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get that against maybe, Midland might be the most complete team, that at least that I've seen in the district so far, from offense to defense. They have athletes everywhere, and they play outstandingly good, in all phases of the game. Going to Grande Communication Stadium, I just don't think Monterey is going to have enough to stay with Midland. I like the Bulldogs in this one.
All right, Lubbock Christian taking on Colleyville Covenant in our next game. And of course, we found out a little bit more about quarterback Hunter Haley and what he's got those Eagles doing this year. And you kind of hinted at it. Not only is Lubbock Christian might be the best team in this district, but they might be one of the best teams in the state.
Yeah, they very well could be. Lubbock Christian got off to a great start against Fort Worth Cavalry this last week. They're healthy, they're playing well, and but this is one of those deals. They got to go on the road. That's the weird thing about this district is it's all pretty much a metroplex district except for Lubbock Christian, which teams have to come out here, but Lubbock Christian also has to go out there. This is on a neutral field at Fort Worth Christian High School. I think because Covenant maybe doesn't have a facility that matches, but I don't think it's going to matter. I think Lubbock Christian will go on the road. I think they have too much for Colleyville Covenant. I like the Eagles in this one.
All right, moving on to District 3-2A now, and Littlefield taking on Roosevelt. And Roosevelt's kind of had another weird start to his season, kind of like last year, but this point last season when they really got on that roll. But they've got Brian Huseman in Littlefield and Patrick Barrio, and they are just rolling right now.
Yeah, last week was a big win for Littlefield. Go to Slayton and blank them. A good way to start the district. You look at around the rest of the district, most of the games were close or were high scoring. Littlefield was really the only team that from start to finish I thought dominated the opponent. So they go to Roosevelt this week, and Roosevelt may be a little bit of a desperate team. They're starting 0-1 in district. They've lost their last couple of games. I'm sure Coach Pointer and the guys over there are really looking for some answers right now. Unfortunately, they've got maybe the wrong team coming in. The preseason district favorite, in my mind, in Littlefield, I think goes into Roosevelt, goes into ACUF, and Littlefield gets the win this week.
All right, sticking in District 3-2A, Denver City taking on Idalou in this next one. Go to Idalou nonetheless. Johnny Taylor learning how to maybe get these Wildcats. The defense is impressive. That's the least to say, but maybe now they're finally finding ways to win and just basically wear out teams.
In a way, I kind of broke my own rule last week. I always had a rule that said don't ever bet against Johnny Taylor. And last week I did. I bet against Johnny Taylor. Well, I didn't bet. That's illegal, But I picked Shallowater. And Shallowater's going to be a good team. They're right there. But I was very impressed with what Idlew defensively, from the fact that they shut down Shallowater's passing game and ran to the football and tackled very well. And they're going to face that in Denver City. They're going to face that in Abernathy. They're going to face that in Roosevelt. And if they can do it to Shallowater, there's no reason they can't do it this next week. Being at home, given the momentum they've got from the Shallowater win, I like Idlew in this one to beat Denver City.
All right, sticking in the same one. Post traveling to Abernathy, and we knew we were expecting a lot from the Antelopes this season, and Chris Jones being with that offense now.
You got to say which Antelopes here.
Well, that's true. Okay, Post. Because it's Post and Abernathy.
Yeah.
This is one of those games where I don't like writing about it because you have to use the school names the entire time. But, of course, he's got those guys moving in the right direction now. They put up 40 points on Roosevelt last week. Can they keep going?
I think so. I liked the way they played. They're one of those teams that they played well defensively and shut down the passing game and shut down a high-powered offense like Roosevelt. And Abernathy, they're just a missed extra point away from beating or from tying Denver City, or maybe beating them if they go for two. And and they could have won that game. So Post, I think, will go in to Abernathy. It's going to be a tough game. I don't think it'll be as high scoring as either one of them put up last week, but I think defense is going to win this one. In that case, I like Post to go in and win this one.
All right, Plains traveling to Smyre in our last game, and of course, this might have been a little bit different pick last week, but now, of course, does Plains the favorite team now?
I think so. This was going to be, I thought maybe one of the key matchups in 1A at least in this week, but unfortunately got some bad news this last week. Aaron Martinez, the outstanding running back at Smyre, who going into last week was second in the state in all classifications according to mapspreps.com with 912 yards. He had like 160 or 150 yards last week, but then injured his knee. I got an email from Coach Price over at Smyre this morning. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL. He is out for the year. A big blow and a bad blow for Smyre, and I think that's going to really hurt him. Plains is playing outstanding football right now. I think Plains goes into Smyre and wins this one.
All right, Georgia's picks for this week. Estacado over Canyon, Coronado over Lubbock High, Midland over Monterey, Lubbock Christian over Colleyville Covenant, Littlefield over Roosevelt, Idlew over Denver City, Post over Abernathy, and Plains over Smyre. All right, we're done for this week of Football Fever. As always, we'd like to thank everyone at LISD TV for everything you do. For George Watson, I'm Travis Cram. We'll catch you next week right here on The Fever.